Good morning and welcome to day 7, the final full day of my photography trip and the final morning in Grand Teton National Park. We're starting today at the very popular Mormon Row, photographing the John Moulton barn. As usual, the place was very crowded, but everyone was respectful and kept out of everyone else's photos, and I got 2 really nice photos this morning. One here, just before sunrise with the blue hour. Clouds are turning purple, just covering the tops of the Grand Teton Range. And then this one here, right after the sun came up, beautiful golden light on the barn and the mountains, and the clouds are starting to clear, giving you a better glimpse of the Tetons. Next, we got in the car and headed back to Oxbow Bend for one last chance to photograph this scene where we could actually see the top of Mount Moran, and today did not disappoint. Mount Moran was easily seen above the clouds, and the trees were as yellow as they've been all week. I took quite a few photos that morning, but here's my favorite. After spending most of the last 5 days in Grand Teton National Park, we've gone from the busiest part of the state down here to the most remote part of Wyoming, well, maybe one of the most remote parts of Wyoming, down here at Honeycomb Buttes, kind of north of Rock Springs a little bit west also. Just a really neat Badlands area. So we're going to spend a night down here. We're going to try to photograph some of these Badlands as the sun gets lower in the sky, and then camp, wake up in the morning, do the same thing, and then it's time to head home. That's the end of this trip. So had an awesome time up in the park, and just really looking forward to one more good night of photography. You're going to wander around here and see what we can find and just enjoy one last night outdoors. So basically I'm taking some of these ends of the Badlands and just kind of capturing the contrast between the light side and the dark side. And maybe even I'll process these in black and white. We'll kind of see when I get back home and look at them on the computer. But just a lot of cool contrast going on there. Just more of the abstract, you know, after shooting great big grand landscapes for a week. It's just kind of fun to play with these abstracts and just think differently, do something a little bit different. So I end up trying to process these in both black and white and color. And I don't really care for either image, but I will say that I do prefer the color one over the black and white image. But let me know what you think down below. So here's another one here, a little bit different, around the corner from the last one. Just some different shapes, playing with different shapes, seeing what I can find. And so here's a really bad photo. It's bad, but it has a lot of cool ingredients, and that's why I wanted to include it. It has good light, has some cool shadows, has some neat subject, but the composition is just boring and flat. If I would have moved to the right, I don't know, 20, 30 feet, it could have been a completely different picture, but instead I came home with this boring image that I'm just showing you in the video to show that, you know, move around, check out your views, check out what your background is, just see what you could do to make a photo more interesting and more dynamic. They've also been kind of looking at these erosion lines. These are kind of messy. There's some ATV tracks through them. There's some boot prints through them, but I'm not looking to photograph the whole wash. I'm basically trying to find one or two neat little areas, and again, just find some abstract shapes in there to play with. That might be a neat one right there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something like that. It's kind of cool, kind of abstract. I'll stop recording the video and take a picture of it. We're literally out in the middle of nowhere. There's Amy, there's Josh's Jeep, there's Josh, and miles and miles and miles of nothing. See what polarizes. Alright, I moved around to the other side of the hill now. And I was walking up to check out those ridges because they look super cool. And I found this wash that's like super pristine. Look at this thing. And you get right down here where this dumps in and, you know, maybe frame up something just like that a little bit. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. Again, we'll see. These always look cool, and then you get them on the computer and you're like, I don't know. But better take a photo of that one. So I continued to play with lines in the wash for a while, and then it was time to head back to the Jeep and head over to where we were camping for the night and get camp set up and eat some dinner. Well, that's going to do it for day 7. We're out here absolutely in the middle of nowhere. There are some hunters about a mile up the road, and then saw some others further up towards the highway. But out here in the, I believe it was the Honeycomb Buttes Badland area, we got awesome earth shadow coming up right now. Time to set up camp, make dinner, camping out here in the middle of nowhere tonight. Should see a billion stars, so kind of looking forward to that. Maybe I'll have to shoot a couple pictures of stars. I haven't done a star photo in forever, so awesome night photographing the Badlands. Mostly making use of the shadows and darkened lights, playing with stuff on the ground. Of course, not a cloud in the sky for anything like a big landscape photo, even though this earth shadow is pretty awesome right now. So we'll maybe pop out the camera real quick and shoot a little of that. So I don't really have a subject, but maybe the openness of it all is kind of cool. So, well, that's going to do it for day 7, the last full day of this trip. Can't believe tomorrow I'm going to wake up here, shoot sunrise, and start heading back home. Well, good morning and welcome to day 8. It's the last day of the trip. It's Saturday. Today I start to drive home. I have to be home tomorrow by 4:30, so got to put a lot of miles on the road today. Back here again at Honeycomb Buttes, uh, Badland type formation in southwestern Wyoming. Beautiful night. I've been out in some places and seen a lot of stars, but I've never seen as many stars as I saw here last night. And the Milky Way was just shooting right through the middle of the sky. You see the Big Dipper off on the northwestern horizon. It was just really cool. So, you see cars are out here. We actually camped about another half mile up the road, and then this morning it was still dark. We drove down here a little bit further and just kind of mess around working with these buttes, the Badlands, and sun's gonna pop up over that hill and just about anyway. You can't see on this camera right now, but I'll do a little video of that here in just a second. But cool morning, quiet, calm. Never heard a single noise last night. Not only do we not hear any noises, I didn't hear any animals or anything. So crazy, but beautiful place. Definitely a place you come back to again because it's a huge area and there's so many different things to see. So I'm gonna get working on a few more photos of this and enjoy the rest of this morning. Here are my 2 favorites from the morning of day 8. I really wasn't into it that morning. I took a bunch of photos, but they were all just very average. Badlands have always been one of the harder things for me to photograph. I've always done way better with mountains and streams and waterfalls and even the sandhills in Nebraska, but Badlands for some reason I've always looked at them a little bit different and kind of struggled, and this morning was no different. This first photo is more of a grand landscape. Got a nice deep blue sky. This is long before the sun came up, so we're just top of that hill is reflecting the first light of the morning, and then the second one is just right after the sun came up, all that golden light just blasting on everything. This one is almost too saturated for me. I tried turning it down. I tried doing it black and white, and I just put it back to the way the camera picked it up, and it's all right. It's not my favorite, but this trip's been really interesting overall. I've had some photos I love. I've had some photos I just think are terrible, and I've had a lot of them that were just okay. But overall, it's just a great trip. It's just great to get out to the outdoors and enjoy the fresh air and all the beautiful scenes out there. And if you get some great photos to go along with it, that's a bonus. But as long as you're enjoying the trip, the venture is the fun part, and the photos are the bonus. So I had a great time. I really enjoyed this trip. Can't wait to get back out to Wyoming again. There's so many cool things to see in Wyoming. But like always, I really appreciate everyone watching these videos, taking the time out of their day to see what I did while I was out there. But thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.